What's going on, guys? chemcoop here, bringing you guys another BattleSpot Singles Ladder Tournament replay. This is from my semifinals match against Zaaya. So for those of you guys who've been following the BSS tournament community a lot, you might recognize Zaaya. So he's actually the current seasonal champion. He won the last tournament where he won a three-way finals against myself and another player. So yeah, looking to avenge that loss here in the semifinals game. It's a best of 5, so obviously gonna have a minimum of 3 games here. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hop right into it. So I've actually I was on vacation. I was like halfway across the country visiting my girlfriend. I really only get to see her every couple of months, so yeah, so Mons was definitely not really a priority while I was there, so I didn't really prep for this or my APA match super well. So you can see the results of the APA game if you watched the last video. End up losing that one. Really just didn't have time to test or build something that I was super comfortable with, and that was kind of the case here. But we'll just see how it goes. So pretty much all I really had time to do is I looked at replays, saw that he tends to be a little weak to something like Moldbreaker Excadrill on a lot of his teams, so I just did a Control F in my team builder for Choice Scarf Excadrill. I found this team, I was like, okay, I'll bring this. Game 1. So yeah, that's how I picked my team. Looking at his squad, Venusaur does pretty darn well. I'm especially defensive Venusaur, so I can take on Greninja, Rotom Heat, and Ferrothorn pretty well because I have HP Fire, but stuff like Lele is obviously going to be a problem regardless of whether I'm physically defensive or especially defensive. And then Gyarados and Mimikyu are also going to be a lot scarier because I know Zaaya tends to run Ghosty and Mimikyu, which can just blow through Venusaur, especially if it's especially defensive. And with Moldbreaker, Gyarados' Ice Fang is actually going to do quite a bit of damage to especially defensive Mega Venusaur, since it's going to ignore the Thick Fat, which normally protects it from ice moves. So yeah, so Venusaur looks pretty good for me. Celesteela is pretty much my best Mimikyu answer, and then Excadrill is pretty good here. Can click Earthquake versus everything on my opponent's team except for the Gyarados, and Iron Head is also nice for Lele and Mimikyu. So yeah, that ends up being the 3 I pick, Venusaur, Celesteela, Excadrill, and let's go ahead and just get right into this game. So I lead off with Venusaur, recognizing that it's pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and Mega Evolve as he goes for the Swords Dance. I throw off the Sludge Bomb here, hoping to poison him in case he is Focus Sash instead of Z move. I can break this guys and get the poison, get a little bit of chip, and break the Focus Sash. So here, I break the Disguise as he goes for the Sword Dance. Here, I'm afraid of bringing in my Excadrill hard on like a Z move because it will just get blown away. So I end up going out to my physically defensive Celesteela to try and take the hit. He goes for another Swords Dance, which is a good play on his part, and he goes for the Z move. Does reveal to be Never Ending Nightmare, and that's going to just take out my Celesteela. I didn't have Protect, so I couldn't even scout for that. I'm pretty sure my set was Leech Seed, Flamethrower, Heavy Slam, Toxic. So I couldn't really Protect on that Never Ending Nightmare and try to escape that situation. But I'll go to my Excadrill here, go for the nice Iron Head here. I don't know why he didn't Shadow Sneak to get out the chip, but he ends up giving the Mimikyu and brings in the Gyarados here. I am Choice Scarf Excadrill, so I do have to go Venusaur. But yeah, this is a scary Pokemon because, like I said, I can't really beat it with even with my Venusaur because Moldbreaker Ice Fang is going to do too much to especially defensive Venusaur. If I was physically defensive Venusaur, I could very easily win this game because Ice Fang is only going to do about 66% max, I think, from Mega Gyarados at +2. Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh no, sorry, I think that's just +1. Yeah, I think +1 from physically defensive only takes about 66% max, yeah. But the especially defensive one takes like 80% max, and even with Giga Drain recovery, even though it would be super effective because it's against Mega Gyarados, it won't do enough damage here, so yeah. So Zaaya makes a really good play if you go back to this last turn. So I KO'd the Mimikyu with the Excadrill. He went Gyarados, and then we both switched out. I switched out to my Venusaur because it's my best response to this thing. He goes out to Lele, calling that obvious Venusaur bring in. Here I'm forced to go to my Excadrill, as he goes for the Psychic here. Revealing the damage, it tells me he's timid Tapu Lele, and he's not choice specs, so he's either Z or Scarf. I just go for the Iron Head because I have to get rid of this thing to have any chance at winning this game. Yeah, so he was talking a bit in the chat, saying like, all I do is Focus Blast, but the special defense drop sucks, and he stayed in because he was timid, so he should outspeed me, and would KO me with another Psychic, and then just win with Psychic. But yeah, so I'm guessing he wasn't Scarf, or if he was Scarf, he wasn't max investment timid, because then I do outspeed him, and I knock him out with the Iron Head. So I'm not really sure it was up there. I mean, obviously, if he's not Scarf, then it totally makes sense because I'm Scarf, so his speed doesn't matter, and I'm just going to knock him out. But if it was Scarf, then he must not have been max investment to outspeed Excadrill, and so I end up taking him out. But here, he's going to go out to Gyarados, and I realize this is pretty much game over. He's going to go out to his Gyarados. He Dragon Dances, so I go Venusaur. And in hindsight here, what I probably should have done was fish for the poison, because I will take one +2 Ice Fang from this thing, even though I'm physically defensive. And if I can get the poison off from Sludge Bomb here and get that extra 12.5%, I should put him in range of a Giga Drain. So I ended up just going for Giga Drain in case he decided to Ice Fang and Mega Evolve so I could 2KO him. But in hindsight, the play was to Sludge Bomb. Would have done a little bit more damage than Giga Drain because they're both stab, and Giga Drain is neutral against this thing since it's flying type still. And if I got the poison, he'd be getting chipped down. And chipped enough to the point where now he's forced to Mega Evolve. He goes for the Ice Fang. I do live it, and I go for the Giga Drain and miss it on the KO by 12%. So you can see if I had gotten the poison there, I would have won this game. So that was probably my play. Let's go for the Sludge Bomb, poison, and then into Giga Drain to win. But so yeah, obviously I don't recover enough from that, and he's gonna knock me out with the next Ice Fang. So he ends up taking game 1 there. Obviously my Scarf Excadrill can't outspeed, so yeah, that goes down, and that's game 1. So we'll hop into game 2 here. I just decided I wanted to bring Tapu Koko because I haven't brought it in a while, and I was like, yeah, whatever. In this game, in this tournament match, so I just brought I loaded up a Specs Koko team here. It's a cool team. Got physically defensive Cress and Assault Vest Heatran, and then double Mega with Kangaskhan Ments and nice Greninja. Yeah, so looking at this team, neither of us have any electric resist other than our Tapu Koko, which hardly counts as an electric resist since it pretty much 2-hit KOs itself. So definitely both of us are bringing our own Kokos here. My Cress is pretty good here at checking Ments and P2, but Mimikyu is going to be scary here, especially because I don't bring... I don't really have a good Mimikyu resist, especially if he's Ghostium. So, which I know he tends to bring, so yeah. So I just ended up going Koko, Cress, and Kangaskhan here. I had kind of a cool Kangaskhan set where it's supposed to beat non-bulky Mimikyu 1v1. So I gave it enough speed to outrun Adamant Mimikyu. I've got Power Punch and Scrappy ability on my regular Kangaskhan. So I can Power Punch the Mimikyu as it goes for either Let's Snuggle Forever, or if it goes for Swords Dance, I get off a little bit of chip with the Power Punch, and then I can go for the Double Edge and knock out the Mimikyu. So yeah, it's kind of a cool set, and let's just go ahead and get into this here. Sorry if you guys got blasted with sound on that first turn. Forgot to play this off. So we lead off with the Koko. I click my Specs T-Bolt. He goes for Life Orb T-Bolt, and yeah, we both do a ton of damage to each other. So I could have risked the speed side here, because if I end up winning this, obviously I get rid of his Tapu Koko, and he doesn't have a single good switch into Tapu Koko. So I was thinking about this, like, oh, I could risk the 50-50 speed side here, but I looked at the damage calcs, and though my Crest is physically defensive, it's so bulky in HP and special defense that it takes like a max of like 51% from Life Orb T-Bolt. So I figured that's probably the safer play, is just to go out to the Cresselia here. As you see, I take 47%, and this is a free Moonlight for me. He actually goes for U-turn, which ends up being a misplay because I have Rocky Helmet. So he ends up killing himself with his own U-turn. So he U-turned his Coco out of the game. I get the Moonlight and back up at 80%, which is great. But Mimikyu comes in here, Swords Dances, yikes. I just go to break the disguise with a nice Ice Beam here. And I could have gone Kangaskhan here, and that would have been a 4,000 IQ play and probably what I should have done to make sure I stayed in this game. But he just goes for Never-Ending Nightmare and knocks this thing out. I just didn't want to risk him being Let's Snuggle Forever, even though I know he likes to run Ghostium. If he was Let's Snuggle Forever, going hard Kangaskhan would have been a choke because my Kangaskhan would have died, obviously, and I would have lost any way of revenge killing this Mimikyu. So I go for my Power Punch here. Does a nice chunk of damage here. It does a nice 7.7%, which I think tells me that he's not too bulky, this Mimikyu, if any bulk at all. I go for my Power Punch. I get the +1. I live the Play Rough, as the set was EV to do. And here I misclick. I just go on autopilot. I click Mega Evolve and I double edge, and obviously it fails. So yeah, what would have happened on that turn is here I would have Power Punched, and then I would double edge the next turn, knock out the Mimikyu. I think I'm low enough because he got like a max roll with Play Rough that I think I would have died to the double edge recoil, and then it would have just come down to his last. So if he had something like Non-Scarf Blacephalon, I would have won. If he had Salamence, I would have won. I don't know that I can KO Tapu Fini because I won't have terrain, even though I am Specs and have the super effective attack. I don't know that I would pick it up, and if it was P2, I think it would probably depend on if you made the smart play or not, and if I got full Paras. Because I think Coco does about 50% to Porygon 2, so a smart player is going to just recover stall out the terrain, and then you can easily live the Coco hits and beat it 1v1. But of course that is ignoring the fact that your Porygon could get full parried from Thunderbolt spam, and then the Coco still ends up winning that way. But yeah, so Shadow Sneak from +2 Mimikyu finished off my Coco, and yeah, that's another game where Mimikyu just kind of does a lot of work here. So big misplay for me is definitely misclicking on the Kangaskhan, because if I could have just knocked out the Mimikyu, then we would have been in a position where we could have potentially won. But yeah, that's that. Alright, so heading to game 3, down 0-2, and at this point, I was pretty much done with this. I was like, okay, I'm just going to bring the game 1 team again, see if we can get that Choice Scarf Excadrill to put in a little bit more work here. At this point I was like pretty sure I wasn't going to win this set, because I really, like I said, I didn't prep, so I didn't have any more teams really ready to bring, so I was like, I'll just bring whatever, and just see how it goes. So I bring this team again. I lead off with Crest because it's pretty good against this team, especially if we're going to see something like a Landers lead or a Porygon 2 lead. The Crest answers that thing pretty well, but he ends up bleeding off the Blastoise, which actually is a pretty big threat to my team, because he's got the Dark Pulse, he's got Water Moves for the Excadrill. He's also going to do a lot to Celesteela with stuff like Water Pulse, given the Mega Blastoise Mega Launcher ability. Got stuff like Aura Sphere to Oko Tyranitar, that sort of stuff. So yeah, definitely a scary Pokemon. So he leads off with the Blastoise. That's a yikes for me. He clicks Dark Pulse here, does a good chunk. Go ahead and Mega Evolve here and just go for Giga Drain. As he brings in Naga, doesn't do anything obviously, but here make a good play. Go Excadrill, expecting the Nasty Plot, as he does go for it. And here I really wanted to double that to my Cresselia, expecting the Landers to come in here, because that's his only ground immune, and really his only thing that really wants to take on Excadrill. So I wanted to double the Crest, but facing on a +2 Naga, I wasn't going to risk it. So I do just EQ, as he does go Landorus, and here I thought about going for the either, let's see, from this scenario I thought about going out to Venusaur here, expecting him to maybe double into Blastoise, expecting me to go out to Crest, or I thought about just staying in and Earthquaking again in case you want to go Naga to try to get some super offensive momentum, but I didn't want to risk it. So, or actually no, I did just go for Earthquake. Yeah, okay, that turn. Yeah, I went for Earthquake. I go to Crest here, make the safest play. So he brings in Blastoise. He's able to go for the Dark Pulse. And here I just have to pray that I am faster, that he's bulky and not speedy, but he is speedy. He's going to knock out that. I go to Excadrill. Last hope here is I have to kill this Blastoise, so I have to hit a Horn Drill. I miss it. He goes for Water Pulse, knocks it out. And Crest obviously is going to be able to beat a Blastoise with Dark Pulse. So yeah, that ends up being it. Pretty disappointing, but this is the way the set ended. But yeah, cool to have Mega Blastoise come through for my opponent. But yeah, so a bit of a bummer. I do think if I had more time to prep and really build my own teams, I would have been, I think, like, or build some teams like specifically for this opponent. I think I would have been able to do a little bit better in the set, but just using like old teams that I was just like, oh, I'll just recycle this because I don't really have time to do anything else. Definitely hurt me. I definitely found that in my tournament performances, I tend to do a lot better when I build all 2 or 3 teams for any given opponent, and then if I just recycle old teams or just use blog teams that I've translated and used on card or whatever. So yeah, definitely something to keep in mind. Hopefully next time I have to play a really serious tournament match, I won't be in the middle of traveling and I can actually spend time on prepping. But yeah, that's okay. I'm actually okay with losing because this just gives me a chance to focus more on Draft League instead of having to deal with tournament stuff for Battle Spot. I think I've already had enough good placements, I think, between my last 2 tournaments that I should be already pretty safe for qualifying for the end of the year invitational. So obviously winning or getting to finals would have helped that, but it's not necessarily needed for me to qualify. So yeah, so I'm definitely okay with losing. Zaaya is a good friend of mine, so definitely happy to see him moving on to another finals, and definitely wish him luck as he heads into finals playing some good opponents. And yeah, I'll probably try and record some of those games, either streaming them on the twitch.tv/SmokeOnYou channel, do a live stream, or if I can't make it, then I'll just go over replays like I do here. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, and I guess I'll see you guys this weekend with APA Week 3. Till then, peace.